Okay, corporate officer, we're moving ahead to new business, and we have
No, late item.
a late item
Yeah,
here,
late item 12.1.
12.1. Okay, this is to do with the Dale Meadows Bike Trail.
Yes.
So, who's going to take this?
So I'll take that one to start with, and we'll see who it goes to. You'll see that council has a staff report written proposing that we make an application which staff has prepared to the Bike BC Cycling Infrastructure Grant Program. This was a program that was introduced very recently. We've only been notified of the program for maybe 2 weeks, and the deadline is coming up this week.
Isn't that a sin?
They do it to make sure that it's the municipalities that have established trail networks can access it. And so when we looked at it's a wonderful opportunity in that it's 50%. So at one of our senior management meetings, we discussed what would be in the plans where it was a project that we would like to do anyways, and we came up with a proposal for this one at Dale Meadows Road to Sinclair Road, and you can see it on your map attached to your program, to the staff report. The estimated cost for the entire project is $447,000, and of which we would be responsible for 50%. So what we need from council is to find out if you are interested in pursuing this this grant application, and if you are interested to pass a resolution to support it today, so that we can attach that with the grant application.
Okay, thank you. Questions, please. Councillor Carlson.
Is there a safe access from Dale Meadows Park on the proposed plan?
A safe access?
Like an access where if someone, well, just an access, I guess, or multiple accesses? If there's gonna be a fence along the side, are there some easy ways to get in if you're in the parking lot or something?
So there is a change in elevation at Dale Meadows Park, and that is part of the works that have been anticipated. And Ian?
Dale Meadows Road.
Oh, sorry, Dale Meadows Road. Maybe I'm not understanding the question. Sorry.
No, there's a drop in elevation from Dale Meadows Road to the field.
That's correct. If we're talking about connecting to Dale Meadows Park, there is a connection where the blue line takes a little jog there, and there's an existing pedestrian trail there now.
Okay.
So there is intended to be a connection. The whole point is to connect Dale Meadows Park to the residential area north to Sinclair, and then make a loop over to Dale Meadows.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Councillor Peak? And then Councillor Barkwell?
Why are we putting chain link fence on, are we doing it on either side of the trail? I'm not quite sure why.
On the cross section, that's what's shown is chain link fencing on either side of the trail. I think at this point, staff has tried to think of everything that might possibly be desired on this trail and got it into the cost estimate that we would apply to the grant program for.
Okay.
If it is not desired or, doesn't need to, so there's contingencies in there, there's some money to move some utilities around. If those things aren't required, then just, less funds would be spent on the project. And it's unfortunate we don't have Don here tonight because he could speak more to the design of it. But I'm not sure, do you know, Ian, about the fencing, what might
Component.
cause it to be required? Just to...
No, it was just a...
Yeah.
Again, as Lori said, it was just an idea to put everything into the estimate that could possibly be considered, and then once we've got a bit more time to sort through, some of that may be backed off a bit.
Thank you very much, Ian. I certainly understand that you put in as much as you think might be needed because you don't know at this point what will be needed. Thank you very kindly.
Councillor Holmes?
If we don't get the grant, are we still committed to doing it?
Definitely not.
Councillor Barkwell?
$440,000 for this short bit of trail sounds like you're building an Autobahn. I mean, I'm all for trails. I'm right behind the idea of, but it doesn't seem like we're getting as much trail for the money as we possibly could. The people on Prairie Valley would like to see $220,000 worth of sidewalks or something. I'm really struggling to support this as much as I want to see trails. You know, it's built to a really high standard. Is there a way of making it cheaper? A lot cheaper.
The main issue in this area are drainage issues, and there's one small bridge in a piece of it, and it's expected that whenever a trail goes in there, it's going to be an expensive trail to go in. And again, when you're looking at grant funding, you need to make sure you estimate high enough so they've got a lot of contingencies because of these issues, and it could be that the project would come in much lower than that, and then it would be 50%. It would be 50% of whatever it actually comes in at. But it's because of the unknowns with the construction issues that they've estimated high.
Councillor Carlson, sorry.
If we were to go ahead with this and get some grant money and then decide that maybe there's a better way to spend it on bike trails, is that an option or not at all? If we could make 10 kilometers of trail for the same amount of money? No? It has to be specifically something that we've...
Highly unlikely. There's occasional times when you get grant funding on a particular proposal and you've gone back to them for a particular reason. You can make adjustments, but it doesn't happen very often.
Councillor Peak.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to ask anyway. This is a suggestion from staff for a possibility of a trail. There was a transcontinental trail walk on Saturday, for instance, from the rodeo grounds, and we went to the lookout. That's a 2% grade on a trail that's well established. That's a trail that could be handicap accessible with a resurfacing and some work on it. That's another option for looking for grant funding for trails. So I don't know, since this hasn't come to us except as this, and as Richard said, there are opportunities elsewhere, I just look at other opportunities.
I think what staff determined in looking at the very short timelines, this was the one and the only one that we could put together the material, put together the quotation and what we needed in the short enough time frames, that there was nothing else in the plan at this point in time that we felt or had identified. And that's why one of the options is that is not to apply for this particular grant. We wanted to ensure that it just didn't go by and not bring an opportunity. But if council doesn't feel that it's a trail that is desirable enough, I mean, it is a high priority trail in staff's look at that, but that there's not enough time to be.
Yeah. Anybody else any questions before I ask one? Councillor Holmes.
I don't know if we've talked, or previous councils have talked about having some sort of trail master plan that do we have anything like that? Has it ever been developed, or so when things like this come up?
Mr. Mayor, one of the strategic priorities of council is to develop that, and that's on the plate of development services, which is on our radar, but it hasn't been developed yet. I think it's scheduled for 2016. So this, again, was an application that we thought we should at least bring to council's attention.
Appreciate
CFO.
In the integrated asset management plan that we applied for a grant for under the capacity building section of gas tax money, we included in there a master plan for trails and cycling. So if we're successful in that, we could receive some grant money to do that planning work.
Yeah.
Right. And again, that was one of the reasons that.
Yeah. I guess I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, we've got an estimated total cost of $447, correct? Or $440? So if it indeed costs that much, and we're looking at getting 50% of that, correct?
Yes.
So we're asking the municipality to come up with $220,000 for a trail. Sounds to me like we're getting the cart before the horse here in terms of our plans and our trails plan and even our rec plan. And I think there's been some good comments here. I think Councillor Barkwell made an excellent comment about funding, and I just can't see us given some of the concerns we've had in the community. I know they weren't specifically trail oriented, but you know, to suddenly find 220,000 to match seems like we're trying to, we're rushing things. I hate to miss out on money, but at the same time, if this is looking at all potential costs, and if there's any reality to it at all, then we're asking the municipality and the residents to come up with 220. And I think in future, I'd rather see this adhere to a trails plan and come up with some more real figures that represent something that's a little bit more realistic, personally. CFO.
Council has set aside $150,000 of gas tax money to expand trails
Okay.
in the district. So the money, most of the money that the district
Is there.
requires is there.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, I just want, you know, I was concerned I wasn't fully, actually, I remember that number now that you mention it.
And just
Go
to
ahead.
note that it was, you know, and again, we recognize that council may want to get that plan first of all, but one of the reasons we chose is because that loop was identified as a
Okay,
as
okay.
a desirable path to complete. So it wasn't that we just picked one that, you know, just to do
Okay,
somewhere.
okay.
That loop, it's been on the radar screen to complete.
Okay, well, and again, I think the picture with respect to the difference that may be required to look for down the road is not as great as what I was anticipating. Councillor Carlson, sorry.
Is there already a walking path off the end of Sinclair to get to Dale Meadows?
I think so.
That little L on the end? Because I just wonder if, you know, when I look at this, the main part of the bike trail that is important is getting people to Sinclair Road, off the end of Sinclair Road. Once you're in the parking lot of Dale Meadows, it's easy enough to get there, and you can get to it by going through the entrance to Dale Meadows and then you cut off the main section of that bike trail, but you can still get through to Sinclair Road. And I know it'd be a much cheaper option, and maybe worth applying for a lesser amount in order to get that small portion done in a quality way so that people can get from A to B.
I think to sort of counter that a little bit, a good part of this is the connection to Dale Meadows. And right now, there's at least several muddy little paths that people are trying to use to jump the swampy bit of water that they're having to do. And they're getting to the baseball fields, or they're moving from that roadway through. And I can see that making an access point here would be useful, and people could do what they're trying to do now in a more realistic fashion. And I understand the totals that you're looking at, and I feel much better about it given that we have the money set aside for trails. But I think Councillor Carlson made a point that in terms of how many kilometers we might do, if we're earmarking a considerable amount of money that's been set aside for a specific trail, is that an inordinate amount given what other trails may be required in the area? Councillor Booth, and then Councillor Traynor.
I would love to have this bike path, or any bike path, in. But I do have concerns about jumping the gun a little bit. We don't have our trails plan. We don't have our recreation master plan. The cultural plan task force is, underway. I think it's premature to put, I don't want to miss out on the grant money either. But if it has to be applied for with this specific or a specific trail in mind, I think it's too early to be making those decisions.
Any other comments? Councillor Barkle? Oh, pardon me. Councillor Traynor, then Councillor Barkle.
I just have a couple of questions. Maybe I missed it, but what's the length of the trail?
I didn't see
Very
that.
long.
Does anybody know?
500 meters.
Okay. I always love to support trails and anything to do with biking or hiking. But I really know nothing about what it costs to build them, to be honest. However, this does seem like a large amount of money. And this is actually the first time that I've seen this proposal before. I was wondering, is there another list of other projects that are up high as well, other trails that might be a little bit cheaper that would also apply, that we could also apply for this grant? I mean, I realize the timeline is extremely tight.
We didn't,
Did you have any alternatives?
We didn't identify any that staff felt that they had enough information or enough
Okay.
that they couldn't. And we wanted to, as I said, it's, we wanted to bring it as an option to council, but if it doesn't pass, it's not that it's not,
not
it
yet.
was just as an option
Yeah.
to make sure you were aware of the opportunity.
No, I appreciate it that you brought it forward, and it's good to know.
Councillor Holmes?
Is there any reason we can't entertain Councillor Carlson's idea of just doing Sinclair to the parking lot? I mean, that'd be totally doable, I think, and it wouldn't break the bank, and it would serve arguably what's the main purpose of connecting that part of the community to Dale Meadows.
So can, our planner, can you, the connection from Sinclair through to the ball fields, there's actually nothing there right now. That's virgin land. Looks like there's a right-of-way already there.
Yeah, the reason this came forward, Mr. Mayor, is because it is an unbuilt road right-of-way. We have a number of them in the community. This one's flat. It's adjacent to Dale Meadows Park, provides a connection. Certainly, if we did that shorter bit, which is about a quarter to a third of the length, you would assume that would take a quarter to a third of the price to do. There certainly wouldn't be the retaining wall structure required at Dale Meadows, so that certainly could be done.
Yeah.
Our Director of Public Works, has been the one that's been working on the quotations for it, and he's not here tonight, obviously, so we would have to work with him to get an updated estimate.
Okay. Because we have this particular recommendation. We also have two options, but we can also come up with a different option if we so please. So I think perhaps I'd like to see Councillor Carlson bring forth another recommendation that we can consider, please.
All right. Well, how am I supposed to word this one?
You say,
Any way you want.
The council pass a resolution to construct a trail from Dale Meadows Park
no. Okay, carry on,
parking
sir.
lot. From the west side of Dale Meadows parking lot to Sinclair Road. Does that make sense? And that a grant application be submitted to Bike BC Cycling Infrastructure Program grant for 50% cost sharing to a maximum of whatever our director tells us is required.
You could just end it after 50% cost sharing.
Okay.
To a 50% cost share.
Is CAO or corporate officer, somebody prepared to read that back to us, please?
That council authorize the construction of a trail from Dale Meadows parking lot, west side, to Sinclair Road, and that a grant application be submitted to Bike BC Cycling Infrastructure Grant Program for 50% cost sharing.
I
Thank
think you
you.
need to
Seconder,
add the word
please.
cycling it's in the
Cycling.
original one,
Yeah.
but it didn't come out on that
Oh,
one.
the Bike
Oh,
BC
cycling trail.
The
cycling.
cycling
Yeah.
trail, I
Yeah.
think, in the
Yeah,
first part.
okay. Cycling trail, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
The motion should make it clear that doing this work is contingent on receiving the grant, and the motion doesn't say that. It's your motion.
This is all, actually, the motion should say that council authorize the I'm sorry.
There's that word there.
That a grant
somewhere.
application be submitted.
That it actually doesn't need the authorization for construction. It can just say that,
Application.
that
Yeah.
it should be supporting the grant application at this
Yes,
time.
okay.
The requirement of the application is that council authorize the project to proceed.
It's a requirement.
In this particular grant application, which is unusual, they need a council resolution to have the construction proceed.
Okay,
I think it's a worthwhile.
okay, so have we got that? I think you have that wording, don't you?
I think as long as she has the principles,
Yeah.
they can fine tune
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You got that, Corporate Secretary? Okay.
Yes.
So we're authorizing the construction and to 50% cost sharing.
50% cost sharing,
Period.
period. Yeah.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Then we can discuss. Councillor Holmes, seconder. Okay, any discussion? Go ahead.
I was just looking on Google Maps, and I noticed that off of Prior Place, it looks like there's already a walking, I guess it's a walking path that links up to Dale Meadows. And obviously that's
That
not.
crosses the creek, yes.
Yeah, but
Are you gonna entertain discussion from members of the public? Because I'd like to speak to this as a member who uses that area.
We'll see whether you have an opportunity or not. So,
If we have a unanimous vote of council, we can accept the presentation from the floor, can we?
I think that's up to the CAO.
Yes, you may.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so,
If you feel.
we've seconded it, correct?
Yeah, if you feel that you want to take.
You're fortunate enough to have people in the gallery that are interested
Well,
in
we just
participating.
deflected one a few minutes ago because the person wasn't here earlier at the appropriate time. But I think considering we've got a person who uses the area pretty heavily, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. And I promise not to write about this. I promise. Anyway, is with the construction, first of all, there's a walking path that goes through.
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I know, I've used it, yeah.
bike path is. And it's a heavily used walking path, okay? So will the construction of this bike path, complete with chain link fence, eliminate the walking path?
No.
Well, then will those of us who walk be creating our own walking path on the property beside it?
Good question.
Or what will happen? Because what I see here is that there will be a bike path with a chain link fence that will be for the walking path.
The width of the path is 5 meters, so that would be sufficient for a multi-use trail.
So you mean I get to walk my dog in a path that has chain links fence?
The chain link fences are not, there's some consultation that has to be done with neighbors and some further development. So as it was mentioned before, they put in the potential of fencing in case they incur some need for fencing. At this point, it's conceptual to make sure they've got them, and it needs to.
Okay, but so it's a multi-use trail or a bike trail?
It'd be
The
multi-
application to Bike BC
is for a bike
is
path.
for a bike path. It is 5 meters wide, which would be considered wide enough for a multi-use.
Okay, because it's a bike trail and
It is bike.
because it's being used that way.
I think the other thing
But
perhaps,
that's, no, my point.
yeah, okay, I think the point too is that this access comes directly off the end of Sinclair as it enters that subdivision. The walking path actually enters the other end of Prior Place,
Well, there's a walking path that comes straight up the Sinclair.
right off the end.
Just informal.
Because okay, well, I've come off the trail, there's a little bridge
No,
right
and you
across.
could walk down the end of Sinclair, go across that trail and go, you know,
Okay,
either direction.
If this was Greece, that'd be a highway.
Oh, my God.
okay, I think we've beat this one to death. We have it seconded.
Yeah.
Have the vote, please. All in favor? Thank you. We're voting on the motion that was presented by Councillor Carlson, correct?
Correct.
And it was seconded,
For that little bit, right?
just for that
It's a
small
short-
piece of trail.
Okay, so we could apply for some money.
Yeah, it's all, would somebody like to read that back, please, again, for the third or fourth
I think we
time?
understand.
Okay. That
Somebody's-
council
yeah.
support a grant application be submitted to Bike BC Cycling Infrastructure Grant Program for 50% cost sharing to construct a cycling trail from the west side of Dale Meadows parking lot to Sinclair Road.
Is everybody
No,
clear on
no,
that?
Sorry, that is not the motion.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
The motion is the same as the original one where they authorized the construction of the cycling trail from the west side of Dale Meadows Road to Sinclair
Okay,
Road.
and just ended at 50% cost sharing.
Yeah, and that a grant application be submitted to Bike BC Cycling Infrastructure Grant Program for 50% cost sharing.
Yeah, all we've done is change the length and designated the start and end point of that trail.
Correct.
Everything else stays the same.
Correct.
Everybody clear? Councillor Barkle, you need clarification?
I'm still uncomfortable with the idea that this motion doesn't specifically say that we're not going to do this if we don't get the grant. That it's contingent upon receiving the grant.
You won't have the
Basically,
funding.
the motion is to
If
construct
we
it
don't get
and
the
to apply.
funding, we're not gonna be able to build it.
That's
But we won't get the funding unless we say we're guaranteed to build it.
We can't proceed without having the funds because the project won't be in the financial plan. So inherently, you would not be able to proceed with the construction, because if you don't have the revenue coming in from somewhere and it's not in your financial plan, you have no authority to spend that money.
So,
So
it's
it's okay.
understood, but I just thought it would be
Well,
easy to say you don't.
I think essentially our CFO has indicated that the grant application itself requires that you state that the council has authorized the construction. So there's no point in seeking a grant unless council's already okay with doing it,
That's
is what
correct.
that comes down to, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. We clear? Good, okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Two opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. So we're on to, boy, 13.1. And this is bylaw 215-03, amendment of zoning bylaw, number 2450, 5815 Highway 97.
So I'll speak to
Yes,
this.
speak to that, please.
Just a note that we have the next 4 bylaws, we have bylaws forward for adoption. Typically, we had them all in one report to start with. Typically, unless council needs clarification on something, there's no further discussion often with adoption. In most cases, they required either Ministry of Transportation approval or a registration of covenant, all of which we've received before bringing them forward to you. So we'll go through each one for adoption, but if you're ready to make the motion for adoption, we won't introduce them individually.
Oh, okay, so we could take the whole group?
We can take the whole group, or we could do them one by one, but if we won't introduce them with any background information.
Okay, let's go
Sounds
ahead
good.
then. Shall we go ahead? So we'll
So,
go,
the first one would be that 2015-003.
okay, so 13.1, would somebody like to move that recommendation, please? Councillor Carlson?
That bylaw 2015-003, amendment of zoning bylaw number 2450, 5815 Highway 97 be adopted.
Okay. I think we'll just move ahead. A seconder, please. Councillor Boot? Any discussion? No? Okay. All in favor? Thank you. Motion's passed. 13.2, please.
That would be the zoning OCP amendment application for Lot 22, DL 488, Plan 310, 4816 Nixon Road.
Yes. That's correct.
There's-
Okay.
You have 2 staff recommendations. One to adopt bylaw 2015-007 and one 2015-010.
Okay, can I have someone from council read the recommendation, please? Councillor Barkwell?
Bylaw number 2015-007, amendment of official community plan, bylaw 2008, number 2000-310, 4816 Nixon Road, be adopted. And secondly, bylaw number 2015-010, amendment of zoning bylaw number 2000-450, that's 4816 Nixon Road, be adopted.
Seconder, please. Councillor Carlson? I think we can move right ahead. All in favor? Thank you. Motion's adopted. Passed.
The next one is bylaw 2015-008, zoning amendment for 2705 Johnson Street.
Thank you. Can I have Councillor bring that forward, please, the recommendation. Councillor Peak?
Says I, who can't see it now. Sorry,
13.3.
isn't that awful? I can't get my eye on it, Mr.
I
Waterman.
can do it.
Councillor Holmes?
Do you want to go
That
ahead,
bylaw
Doug?
2015-008, amendment of zoning bylaw 2000-450, CR1, country residential 12705 Johnson Street be adopted.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Councillor Carlson? All in favor? Thank you. The motion's passed. Thank you.
And the last one would be the minor text amendments, amendment to our zoning bylaw, 2004-50.
Okay.
Thank you, Deputy.
Councillor, bring that forward, please. Councillor Carlson, thank you.
The bylaw 2015-009, amendment of zoning bylaw number 2000-450, minor text amendments be adopted.
Seconder, please. Councillor Boot, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Motion's passed. Now we're on to councillor reports. We'll start with Councillor Trainer, keeping in mind that we have 15 minutes to go.
Don't talk too much.
Okay?
I'm gonna have to shorten this.
Pardon me?
I'm gonna
Well,
have to shorten it. Okay, fine.
speak fast or do every other paragraph.
Okay, I will. On Wednesday, April 29th, I, along with our CAO and Recreation Manager, attended a meeting at City Hall with the president of Summerland's ATV Club, the president of Summerland's Dirt Biking Club, and the organizers of the Test of Humanity mountain bike race to discuss motorized vehicles on Cartwright Mountain. The majority of the race is held on private property with the exception of a small portion of land owned by the district. Organizers had expressed concern that motorized vehicles were using this portion to access the backcountry behind Cartwright, and in the process of doing so were riding over the mountain biking trails to get there. Organizers requested that the district restrict motorized vehicles in this area, and staff is now preparing a report. I'm certainly happy to have all of these groups at the table to discuss this and the broader issue of motorized vehicle use in and around our community. I believe this discussion should continue and is something that we all need to work together on to ensure that all of our user groups have a play area. Last week, I attended the Okanagan Basin Water Board's launch of its annual Make Water Work campaign at Bylands Nursery in West Kelowna. The OBWB says in the Okanagan Valley there is less available water per person anywhere in Canada, and yet we have one of the highest rates of water use per person in Canada, mostly from watering our gardens and lawns. So all of us in attendance at this media launch, mayors and councils from up and down the valley, we were all asked to pledge, to take the Make Water Work pledge. We pledge to personally reduce our own water consumption and as leaders to encourage people in our community to do the same. Taking the pledge is really easy. You just go to makewaterwork.ca and register. There are 6 pledges relating to reducing your water consumption in your yard, and you only have to commit to one. We have flyers downstairs on this. I won't talk about what all the pledges are, but they're pretty easy to follow. Again, you just pick one. There are several prizes, including a WaterWise garden makeover worth $6,000. And the community with the most pledges wins bragging rights. I think last year Oliver won. And I just say brown is the new green. Okay.
We have a few councillors to get through.
Okay,
Could you
one more.
please finish? Thank you.
Okay, this Saturday I am participating in the Rotary Club's Giants Head Grind. I will be running all the way to the top, hopefully. I'm excited to do this event, and it raises money for colon cancer research. It's also a great opportunity to promote Giants Head Park as a hiking or walking destination. With a little promotion, I think that people from Kelowna, Peachland, and Penticton will come to our area to do our local grind and hopefully stay after for lunch or go shopping. Online registration for this event closes tonight. Thanks.
Councillor Barkwell, you have
My
something?
report's shorter.
Good, it better be.
I understand a good way to save water is to shower with a friend.
And you have a few?
A week ago Friday, I attended the meeting with the Canadian Labour Congress about the, I guess, the movement to try and set $15 an hour as the minimum wage in British Columbia.
Living wage.
Well, that's a little bit different. Living wage is calculated as for the area, but $15 is a start. It's something they've got a good campaign going. And then on Saturday, I listened to Mr. Waterman give his speech at the labor rally at Gyro Park. And then on Monday, of course, we all listened to Mr. Hume. And Tuesday, I went to the Prairie Valley presentation that staff had put on for the bollards and such. And I thought the staff had put on a really, really impressive presentation for the people on that road, and look forward to hearing what the recommendations are. And then Wednesday was Mr. Hume again, and then Thursday we attended the opening for the art gallery, which featured the railway, and then Friday I had a night off, and then Saturday we went on some of us were on the KVR trail, which was probably one of the most enjoyable duties I've ever had as a councillor. That nice walk on Saturday morning. And then the week before that, I attended the meeting on the sewer. It was very controversial. I have sympathy for both sides of that issue. And I guess democratically, they've made their decision.
Thank you. I can see the smaller piece of paper didn't make any difference at all. Councillor Boot. And we are getting limited here.
Yes, there are all kinds of things that I attended with the mayor, that I have attended with Councillor Traynor, and also with Councillor Barkwell. The only thing that no one has mentioned so far, but I know further down the street it will, and that is attending the Shakespeare Festival gala presentation Saturday afternoon at the Center Stage. It was unbelievable. These kids, I am so glad that we voted to extend a cash contribution to that. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Councillor Carlson.
I have nothing to report.
Ah, a bonus. Councillor Holmes.
Well, that's good because I'll take your time.
No,
I've done things, but
your time is extremely limited.
ready
Well,
for
Carry
bed,
on.
so-
we might have to extend. I have a motion. I have a motion
Oh,
to
okay.
make. So I'll make the motion, and then if I could talk to it. I move that council direct staff to draft a policy to provide the opportunity for busking and street performances on Summerland streets, addressing the issuing of permits, fees, conditions, and guidelines. So
I'll second that.
Okay, sounds good.
So this kind of came about over the winter when Councillor Carlson and I met with a local musician who wanted to talk to us about setting up a busking competition, maybe being sponsored by different businesses in town. I think we thought that was kind of a great idea. We kind of, I think for that idea, suggested he talk to the Chamber of Commerce, and in the course of a conversation, we realized that some of them probably didn't have a busking policy in place. I talked to the interim CAO at the time and confirmed that, and we did some bit of research, and he had compiled some examples from other communities, which I've since passed that file on to the current CAO. And local musicians, they like the idea of a municipality having a policy, and most municipalities in the valley do have a policy on this, Penticton, whoever. And most musicians, they support the idea of a policy because it ensures that the people who are out there performing are actually bona fide performers, and it's not, they're not panhandling or whatever. Just so on the whole, I think busking provides can have a positive impact on the community. It creates a vibrant feel to the town, encourages interaction with each other. We've heard about the Sunday market that we're starting up. You can imagine busking on the streets in the market, and it provides an opportunity for local artists to showcase their talents. But we should have guidelines in place to ensure respectful busking. Policy should address safety, volume levels, locations of where they can perform, the hours, and things like that. So in drafting a policy, I'd ask staff to consult with potential buskers and performers to determine what works best for them, and we can point them in the right direction for that, and while balancing any concerns local businesses and residents might have as well.
Certainly convinced me. Can we have a seconder, please?
I've already seconded it.
Did we? Okay. Motion to accept, or
All
in
those
favor?
Questions? There's no room for
Okay, questions? I'm getting sorry here. We'll have to have a motion to extend the meeting?
We've got
Yeah,
7
we
minutes.
get 7 minutes.
Okay, well, at the rate we're going, I'm not too sure we'll do it.
So-
Okay, quickly.
So this is directed to you, Councillor Holmes.
Mhm.
Given that there's a cultural plan task force whose job it is to kind of come up with, make presentation at some point in the future to council, is this part of the cultural plan task force? I just want to be careful that we're not stepping on any toes here.
I don't think you can just not do culture for a year, while the plan is happening. Just like you can't just stop in any recreation. We just approved a cycle path, and you could have said, well, we should wait till the recreation master plan is done before that.
I think I did.
Well, okay, so I don't see it that way. I don't see we could just stop until what we would normally do anyway. So I can't see this contradicting anything in the cultural plan. It's all, we're facilitating culture. So.
Councillor Peak?
I don't see this being a problem for the cultural plan because they'll have actions coming out of it, and if they have suggestions around something like this that they'd like improvement on, then they would have an opportunity to do that as well.
Okay. Any other comments? Go ahead. Okay.
So, has this been run by the cultural plan task force?
No. This is just simply a response from local musicians that approached that approached me, and there's an interest amongst the local musician community to have this, and it's just a response to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I agree that there shouldn't be a problem with the cultural task force because at the end, when they come up with their cultural plan, there'll be a number of policies that we have that will, operational policies that may have to be amended. So it'll just be looked at that time to see if it's consistent. Normally, if you were bringing a policy forward, I would say, well, we need to look at the what's in the queue at this point in time, but I have done some work on this already, and it won't be onerous to move it forward.
I think what Casey was alluding to, that, we're creating some workload for staff here that isn't necessarily part of our strategic plan, but at the same time, it hopefully doesn't involve too much, but we have to be careful when we've already addressed a strategic plan, which has invoked a work plan for staff. So, at any rate, I'll call for the vote on this, please. All in favor? Motion's passed, thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
So we're into the very short. Oh, right, sorry, Councillor Peak.
I did so many things that you all did. I'm not going to repeat it. I really did appreciate the opportunity to go to the Silga conference, and there were a number of issues that I was able to see being resolved on the resolution table, so thank you very much for that opportunity.
Okay, thanks.
We're all very active members.
Okay, any questions from the media?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Why was the public hearing canceled?
Why was public hearing council? Well, that's because we felt that there wasn't adequate consultation done in the past even 18 months on this specifically to do with the West Prairie Valley lands. Upon sort of more detailed review, we decided there was also some public input that the OCP amendment that was suggested really the only aspect that impacted West Prairie Valley essentially was the swap land, the inclusion of the agricultural or the lands into agriculture. But it didn't address the larger question of the urban growth boundary that encompassed the old Summerland Hills plan, which was our property as well as Crown land. And so we felt that the consultation on that aspect from the West Prairie Valley lands and how it impacted our urban growth boundary hadn't been done thoroughly, and I think the question was never really asked in a more comprehensive, demanding a more comprehensive consultation for that area. So what we're doing is we're referring this back, or canceling. We canceled the public hearing. This issue will be going back to the select committee. They will be making recommendations to council, and they'll be coming up with, the council will come up with recommendations for the public consultation opportunities. And when those opportunities have been dealt with and the public has been consulted in what council and the public considers appropriate, we'll be considering options that the public may bring forward for those lands, as well as what council considers may be appropriate. I think council felt that we needed to step back and do an appropriate consultation back to sort of step one on those areas more specifically.
Just mainly the West Prairie Valley.
Yeah, it's just strictly the West Prairie Valley area that we're looking at. We felt that the issues around the land swap, et cetera, and the previous urban growth boundary determinations did not adequately address the issues around the West Prairie Valley lands. So we'll be bringing that back at a future date with respect to a public hearing on that. As we canceled that one, we'll be issuing another one. Is that an appropriate
Yeah, the whole matter
response?
was referred back.
Yeah,
so
it's all referred back to the select committee, and they'll be making recommendations to council.
And that select committee was you, just refresh me.
Yeah, Councillor Boot, Councillor Trainer, yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. John?
Do we have a timeline on how long that's going to be?
I think, no, we don't specifically. I don't anticipate a long time. That'll be up to the select committee to try and establish a timeline. But it's not going to be just 2 weeks. It'll be longer than that in terms of meetings required, consultation meetings taking place, and then coming back to council meetings. So you're looking at several council meetings before it can come back. Okay. Thank you. We're done. May I have a motion for adjournment, please? Councillor Boot, Councillor Trainer, thank you. All in favor? Thank you.